make it count.
I must practice tolerance.
GSL Season 1 Regeneration.
We are finally back. Oh my God, it's so good to be back, everybody. We miss you. It's been a long time to be casting StarCraft 2 for our toes and myself since the finals of BlizzCon.
That's right. It has been quite some time, and especially quite some time since GSL, having finished it off with the GSL Super Tournament Season 2 last year. But here we are. Oh my God, look at this. The 2019 GSL Tour, Season 1, 2, 3. Super Tournament, Season 1, 2. GSL versus the World All-Star event. Hey, I'm Toast. This is GSL coming back. Yes, apparently it is, with everything included. Thank you very much.
We had a really strong year for StarCraft. Overall, I would say 2018 was the best year ever for StarCraft. And we're not done. We are hitting the ground running. Took us a little bit to get GSL started, but here we finally are in February. And this is what our schedule's going to be looking like. Now, Lunar New Year, the holiday here is going to be starting tomorrow, so nobody's going to be working. Everybody's going to be going and seeing their families, except for me. I'm going to be sitting in my house in my underwear, playing video games.
I'll be doing both, sitting in my house in my underwear with my family. So we'll be back on Thursday. We'll have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday set of casts next week. Right, Wednesday, Thursday starting later cast, and then Saturday. And then we will go into the last group in the group nomination the week after that.
Yeah, screenshot that last graphic we had and then write that into your calendar because we're going to be in a little bit of an unusual cycle here for GSL. I know generally it's just Wednesday night here and then Saturday afternoon, but because we're kind of crunched for time, we're going to be ramming through a lot of days of GSL. So if you want to follow us the whole way through from the start of the show all the way to the finals, you want to keep track of these dates. We're going to have a few words here from Kevin, our CEO. It'll be translated by Brian.
We'll be with us all season. GSL's getting better. Brian, take it away.
I've been waiting very long for GSL to resume. I apologize for the delay. Although despite the delay, we're going to make 2019 GSL seasons very special. This is the 10th year that GSL launched, and for the past decade, GSL has been ongoing, and we are writing history all together. And as we hit such a milestone, we have a great news that GSL will be officially sponsored by Mountain Dew from Pepsi Cola Korea. So please give a huge applause and shout out to Mountain Dew. And also, we had the BJ Destruction series from Africa TV throughout end of last year to early this year, and then we believe that we have delineated a great content through the series, and based on the results of the Destruction series, we decided to provide personal sponsorships to 3 players, including Keen, who's playing today. So please look forward to all of our further contents regarding StarCraft 2 in Africa TV. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian.
For translating what Kevin had to say, our CEO here at Africa TV.
That's right. Everybody here at Africa TV, we are StarCraft people. We are RTS people, whether that be StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2. So it's very cool to be. It's cool to be part of this whole thing, man. And it's so weird too when they had the list of all those years, I realized, God, we've been doing this for a really long time.
Well, at some point, you and I are going to have to ask ourselves when we need to stop, but it's not now. It's not
yet. It's not now. That much is for sure, but yeah, it's a little bit crazy how long we've actually been doing this. And for this season, as you can see, we are down here amongst the audience. I actually prefer to be casting down here. I feel like I get more of a vibe.
So much better.
You know, it's
and then I can
kind of
watch
cool
off the
being
big
upstairs
screen like
over
everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is fun. We appreciate production moving us down here for this season. It really does make a difference as a caster being down here in the audience.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm just so excited to be back. Like, I have missed GSL with all my heart. You know, this is really kind of our main thing, and it has been for so long.
Has
Is
been
it
our
really
main,
10 years?
This has been our main con. We've been doing this fake job for about 10 years, Artosis.
Yeah. Well,
and I wouldn't have it any other way.
no, indeed. So here is our lineup overall of the players. You might look at this and say, what the hell is going on? Y-Man MC? Dude, that's MC. The legendary Protoss player, he's back. So is Parting. So is Fantasy. Fantasy got out of the military. He said, you know what? I don't want to play StarCraft 1. I want to play StarCraft 2.
Yeah, it's
Fantastic to have
interesting.
him
We've
here.
had players like Rain and Silky go back to StarCraft 1. We've had StarCraft 1 legends like Fantasy say, no, StarCraft 2 is where I belong.
Yeah, and it's so exciting. He is doing fantastically lately. Of course, we have the return of many, many champions here. Scarlet is back here in the GSL quota. She'll be the only non-Korean joining us this season, but quite a good one to have, right?
Oh, absolutely. Scarlet, I think one of the best non-Koreans that there is globally, and one of my favorite people to cast. I'm really looking forward to her games. And I actually expect we're going to have some more non-Korean representation coming here in Season 2 and Season 3 of the GSL.
Well, I certainly do hope so. Now, regardless of that, let's take a look at these groups. I mean, all the groups look very, very exciting. I'm interested to see if some of these old names can get out. Like, for instance, MC. Look at that tough group, man. Stats, Kira, Gumiho. That's a pretty brutal group to get top 2 in.
Yeah, it really is. As we continue on here, we have a lot of other legends here. Maru, a big fan favorite, destroying GSL last year. Curious to see how he's going to be doing this time around. But we've had some new players popping in, as well as some of these very, very old school players. Again, very excited to see Parting doing well.
Yeah, in Fantasy as well, in the online tournaments, he has been a wrecking ball. It's crazy how well he's done in some of these, like Olimo League things and WSG quals and stuff like that. So I'm very excited, being a longtime Fantasy fan for well over 10 years, to see how well will he do, because he made it into Super Tournament last season. How long was that? 4 months ago, but didn't look that good, right? Got just smashed by Classic and it was over. But he's obviously looking a lot better now.
He was the first, when I first came to Korea, he was the first live match I ever saw, was Fantasy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great
big one. Big mom. Very strange to finally get down here and see that live.
마운틴 듀 GSL 세지먼 리제너레이션 시작합니다.
Was that a Protoss voice or a Jerk voice?
I think it was Protoss.
It was Protoss? I was glad to know that.
Terran, I don't know.
I was glad to know that they have. It's not a Terran voice, man. There's no that was a human voice actor with effects in there.
Well, it's like a computer human voice, right? Like the, what do you call it? The girl with the cords coming out of her head in the command center?
Cord head girl.
Cord head girl. That's why. That's it. That's it. I like to call it Robot Maynard, but whatever.
Oh, you're
another
funny.
of my favorite cord heads. I'm sure he's tuned in right now. So,
okay, so we've got all of our players in their respective booths. We are moments away from starting Game 1, our first best of 3. Again, it's been a while. I'm sure most people remember, but we are in the group phase here at the GSL. So whoever wins here and whoever loses here is not eliminated yet from Group A. The winner goes to the winner's match, the loser goes to the loser's match, yada, yada, yada. How long? How many months was it exactly since we cast at BlizzCon? Has this been?
Well, that was November 4th was the last day of it.
Okay.
So that was a while, and then
what was it? February.
Super Tournament was a while before that. So
yeah, February 2nd.
Yeah,
God,
it's a ways away.
It's been a long time for us casting StarCraft 2. Now Dark is going to be going up against Trust here. Dark has been killing it, by the way. He's looking like he might have been the best player in the world in between this time of us casting. Let's see if he's still got it.
He's definitely been doing well. I mean, Trust is still around from time to time. He shows brilliance. Other times he gets smashed, but generally gets into a lot of high-end tournaments. So I'm excited to see what he'll bring out. You know, with these kind of like longer quiet times, it makes the comeback a little bit more exciting because you're not exactly sure where everyone's going to rank up. Of course, we have had, qualifiers for Katowice. We've had qualifiers for WESG. There's been Olimo Leagues going on, various tournaments here and there all over the place of various sizes. So definitely we've seen some of these players, but like this is the real testing ground.
It really is. And so Here we go, guys. We're almost ready to hop into this. It's going to be on Port Alexander to start things off in this ZVP Dark versus Trust.
Oh, I'm so excited about this, too. The new map pool. I've been playing a bunch of StarCraft 2 in the last few days here, and I just don't know where to take my third bases. So I hope Trust lives long enough to show me.
Yeah. This is funny because we're going to finally get to really unpack at the highest level of StarCraft 2 how to play on all these new maps. I'm super pumped. Our game is loading up. Get ready. By the way, guys, tell your friends to join us here. It's been too long. We're finally back at the GSL.
Regeneration. 게임이 시작됩니다. 포트 알렉산더. 게임 준비 완료.
Here we are.
Ghost Crew.
Thanks,
Oh,
Artosis.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Looks like you still got it, man.
Yeah, I still
after all
got
these
it.
months.
Well, we have blue versus red in the most serious sense of it right now.
Yeah.
We didn't have nameplates.
Yeah, no nameplates there, huh?
Trust.
Sound like the voice swallowed its tongue there, but
It's a tough word with a Korean
robot alien
accent.
voice. Yeah.
Robot alien Korean voice.
Yeah. Ooh, this is the year of the pig.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Young and old here
Yeah,
in the studio.
It's pretty packed down here, by the way.
Yeah, it's filling up.
Yeah, like they had a certain number of seats out, and they had to refill it like 3 times for people. So definitely a lot.
We've still got extra chairs here too if you're on the way down to the studio.
Yep.
Yeah, again, guys, get out there and let people know that we're back finally, because it's been too long. We kind of got a little bit off rhythm here to start things off in 2019 for StarCraft 2, and we're gonna have a ton of matches squeezed together here. We have Lunar New Year right after this for the holiday, but then it's like we're gonna be in the studio almost every day, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy time, no doubt.
And one other thing to note here as well is that we have had the ASL going on, the sister tournament to the GSL, casting StarCraft 1.
Yeah, and that will continue to go on. No stops on that train until it's all over. So definitely do check that out. We did just see some stats popped up. I think we're going to have a lot of improvements this season, like, for instance, having a dedicated translator. Very excited about that. We just saw some beautiful stats there, with Dark being 12-1 over Trust overall. Poor Trust. That's a tough first match, no doubt.
Yeah, it really is. So we're about to see the Overlord get driven out here. Darkoid on 3 bases. Looks like everything so far pretty standard here for Dark. And we're going to find out just a little bit what exactly this Protoss tech is going to be.
Yeah. You know, I'm kind of hoping that Dark gets out of this group so we get a winner interview with him. Because really all I want to know right now is if he still thinks he's better than Cyril, you know? Because he was like the one guy that just wouldn't let that go and then couldn't beat him. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm wondering. Anyways.
He also does give better interviews than a lot of the pros.
Oh, yeah, he's fantastic.
Not that we really expect necessarily great interviews with, pros. That's not why we are fans of them. It's more for their gameplay. But yeah, he's one of the better interviewees we've got.
Well, looks like it's probably going to be an Archon drop, like with Dark Shrine here coming out of Trust. See in just a moment. That's what the build looks like so far.
Yeah, and if it is going to be that build, that's been a pretty common build. I'd say it's one of the better builds as far as just eking out easy damage. I mean, as long as you don't lose the Warp Prism with the Archons, you're basically fine. You're trading shields, which regenerate pretty quickly, and taking out, generally speaking, cheap Zerg units. But I mean, if you can get drones, that's pretty big.
Yeah, this build in general, it was super strong for a while, like the DT-based Archon drop.
Yeah.
And I still think it's a good build. It's a good build to mix in. But there were reasons why it did go away, right? Like, for instance, if you try to do the double prism, then Mass Roach could roll you over. You're kind of forced into lots of Immortals if you do this because you don't have that Stargate, which can allow a player, specifically a player like Dark, to be honest, to possibly get into Aspire, Mutalisk can be a little bit of a counter to this build as well. So
yeah, it kind of happens organically, the massing of Immortals, because you already have that Robo. And because Roaches, a lot of times, as you were saying, is a really good response to this. Now, we have the Dark Shrine almost finished here. There's a hallucinated Void Ray here
that's
coming out as well.
Okay, so he actually looped it back and then sent it forward. So I think he's trying to make Dark think it's a real Void Ray. And I wonder if he did that, if he made it on purpose. Because the way he moved it, definitely he was trying to use it to fool. But is there a build where you make a Void Ray right away right now?
Could be. I mean, it's been a little bit. The meta's probably changed a lot, it's especially the highest level of play. A lot of these players have been hiding their very best builds, too, until this tournament. So the DTs came out. Now, with this rush, you do have the option to come in there with those DTs and see if you can actually just get a free kill, for instance, on the hatch. Once you go through that initial attack, you want to send them back and then turn them into Archons.
Yeah, didn't quite get it there. But Trust adding a bunch of gates that Dark scouts immediately.
Yeah.
So Dark is going to have a very good idea of exactly what's going on here.
Only one Archon being made here.
I think he's just protecting it with the 2 DTs.
Yeah.
And you can see Dark actually does throw up that Spire right away. This is, you know, it's not an exact counter to this build.
Yeah.
But it can be good, and it's something that a player like Dark will mix in. You know, you don't have a Stargate. Mutas are actually pretty strong. You can technically defend, but it's a bit difficult.
Okay, we have the Warp Prism with no shields. Just staying on the edge here does take out some creep tumors. We already see there's been a decent number of roaches made, and there's a second Warp Prism here full of sentries.
Yeah. Well, he made so many gateways. There has to be some aggression coming out.
Did that get... Okay, was spotted out. I don't think it was spotted before that, though, but we already have some roaches coming up here. Now, this is going to be going towards the ramp here. We could get a block off, but with those roaches coming up, he's going to get this initial warp, and the sentries, of course, can't really fight the roaches on the ground. He's going to try to do a little bit of juggling. Meanwhile, Archon drop over here, hitting this queen. Good transfuse there.
Yeah, something's going to have to happen with this, at least, though. Let's see. There are a few Zealots actually getting in with these drones, but there's some roaches in there as well. I mean, 7, 8 drones so far.
This is actually quite a good amount of damage. 9 drones now kill. Now, the Ravager can break the force field, but if you're fast enough, you can immediately do another force field after that.
This Prism actually getting extremely low, so I think he's going to have to either recall or lose both these. Yeah, he's just going to lose them both, unfortunately. So was this enough at the end of the day? 12 drones for losing the Prism, losing all the warp in, and now mutas are coming out?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, is keep in mind mutas are about to pop out here. So I think the game could actually seesaw pretty heavily into favor for the Zerg. You know, one thing about the mutas is if you can keep the Archons alive, Archons can actually deal with mutas. So you know, your Warp Prism can still have some presence over here, even though you might want to send that back to try to defend it home. But now these Roaches and Ravagers are coming up here. They're going to be comboed in with mutas that are going to be headed in this direction as well, over here at the third.
Yeah, look at this. If he can reduce any of the Archons, that is a huge victory for him. And in fact, this base might not even end up living, which is really funny because I mentioned the 2 big counters. One was Mass Roach, that you play against 2 Warp Prism, and one was mutas. And he's actually doing both right here.
Yeah. Oh, now hold on, there's 1 DT that's coming in here. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get any favor here for the Protoss, but you could end up getting a lot of kills. Meanwhile, 3 mutas here taking these probes in the main. I actually think we've just seen Trust fall apart. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to recuperate from this. So it seems like the natural is the only place it's actually safe. The third base, by the way, was destroyed.
So use some Archon juggling to try to, you know, reduce the damage done from these mutas, but he already lost a lot of probes, like as many probes as he killed drones the initial attack. There's no way in right now, and Dark is very safely taking a 4th base, just making Roach Ravager. I don't feel like there's a great transition here for Trust.
This has actually always been a problem if you're trying to use Archons to fight mutas, is the mutas can basically pick and choose when they want to fight while still dealing damage everywhere. A big counterattack is coming here, and even though there's, I think 2 or 3 Immortals with this? That's not going to be enough for this many Roaches. I think that, simply put, there's going to be too much coming out here. But let's see how good the juggling is. Sometimes with a warp, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it was kind of an interesting take on the DT-based Archon drop from Trust because he got the second Prism, but not for more Archons, which is a more common thing that you see, but instead 4 sentries, right? And which is a little bit less gas and quite a bit less minerals. And he tried to do like a, you know, draw your opponent away with the Archons and then force field the ramp and warp in a bunch of the main. But unfortunately for him, the Prism was spotted by that Overlord, like you pointed out.
Yeah.
Dark got Roaches into the main base and just, he dealt with that harassment well enough, and his follow-up was just too strong.
Trust probably really feeling the pressure right there. Maybe even, I think, a little bit wiggly from that camera shot. You know, it's stressful, man. I think he sort of started to pull off his strategy. He lost the Archons and didn't quite do enough damage. And from there, the third is not safe. This is a lot of times a problem with builds and strategies specifically set up as that, is if you don't do that much damage and cripple them, since you're usually attacking workers, you're not losing any of your army.
Yeah.
So then when you hold it off, the question is Protoss actually ready for a counterattack?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, we're going to go to game number 2 here. Dark versus Trust.
게임이 시작됩니다. 하이로스 정션. 게임 준비 완료.
In the top left.
Ghost Crew. Dark.
In the opposite of the top left. Whoa.
Trust.
Well, opposite of top left is actually non-existent.
No, it's bottom right.
Well, no, I mean, if you want to get a little bit more opposite, because top left is like a direction and a place here, it's like something that doesn't exist would be more opposite, I would say. Like matter and antimatter. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right.
Is it a top
Put
left?
that
It's like
smoke
bloop,
it
bleep,
tastes. Now look at this. Trust with the gateway in the main. He's not doing any sort of wall off here. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I actually was a little bit surprised by that. We have the second Nexus coming down here, and we're going to have to see what exactly is going on. Some thumbs up there. People staying caffeinated, waving high. Everybody's having a good time. Happy GSL is back.
Yeah, happy GSL day.
It really, as a caster, it really does feel weird if you go for a long time without casting. Because normally, we're casting StarCraft 2 like pretty much at least every week or every other week. Because we do have some breaks in here and some holidays. But man, going this long without doing it, it did begin to feel weird. I did feel like my life did not have as much purpose for this time that we had off.
No, certainly. Just GSL alone is, let's see. I mean, we cast like 80 days of GSL a year, you know?
Yeah, thereabouts.
So that in and of itself, plus other events.
Are we counting Super Tournament in there and GSL versus World? Okay.
Yeah. It's somewhere in that range, 70, 80 days, something like that. So it's just weird to go like 4 months without GSL. It's wrong. In fact,
it's criminal. Criminal.
Be so brave to say.
You are very brave.
Let's not let that happen next year. Okay.
Yeah, we can't. Hopefully,
let's get it started earlier.
Yeah. Okay, so the Overlord is going to flee over here to this high ground area, just out of vision of that Stalker. And keep spotting from there for the time being. Now, we had a very quick Robo.
Yeah.
There's also a quick Roach War in here from Dark. Dark already identifying right away, just even with building placement, this is not exactly the most ordinary Protoss opener, at least from past play.
And, you know, this Stalker popping out kind of tells you that most likely there's not a Stargate here. It is, in fact, a Robo. So, I mean, this seems to me like it's just going to be a very quick Prism Robo kind of all-in-ish two-base play.
Yeah.
Look, he's sitting here on 28 probes. He's not even making probes.
Are we really surprised, though, that Tress is doing something like this? I mean, it's like
I'm not surprised.
It's an amped-up build from the previous game.
Oh,
no. Okay, that was the one thing.
Okay.
All right.
He made
to say you had one job.
Yeah,
Samuel Tully.
Kind of made a gas there. I don't know if that was to kind of sneak, and yeah, it was. Because the Ling was coming. He's like, I better make this look more real than it is. But a lot of units are actually being made by Dark, so I'm not feeling this one for Trust right now. Look how many Lings are in production.
Yeah, I don't feel like
Can we beat that with gateways.
The thing is that already he should basically be prepared for this. Now the Stalkers are coming out. You can do a lot of great micro with War Prisms and Stalkers against Roaches since they have more range, and the War Prism is among the most abusive, I should say abusable micro units in the game. But when you get this many Lings, it doesn't help. I mean, these are not Stalkers with Blink right now either, so the Lings are the natural enemy of them.
Yeah, it's quite true, but you know, you can do that fancy micro that you were talking about. Now it's 25 drones against 30 probes. This is really funny. That felt so low on economy, but definitely Dark's in a better spot if he holds this.
Yeah, I think this might actually just be it, man. I don't believe we're going to see any other tech. When you're doing this kind of rush, you're usually not teching with anything else. So yeah.
I'm not feeling too good about the chances here of our boy Trust.
I think our boy Trust might be in trouble town. He's making some zealots here. Now, because it's mostly Ling heavy, it's a little bit harder to break this. But if any of these gateways go down, like if the Ravager, or let's say the Ravagers unpower the pylon with the projectile here, yeah, you can kind of just artillery this down.
Yeah, he doesn't have a shield battery. He doesn't have a force field robot. He doesn't have, you know, much of anything here.
Okay, and now the Lings
most
spill
of all,
in.
he doesn't have a chance.
Yeah. Okay, and so our first best of 3 backer at the GSL was a bop. If it was a meal, it would be a bibimbap.
13-1 now. Dark extends this to.
Yeah.
Unless that was map score, not match score, which it could have been.
Either
so
way.
15-1, 13-1, I don't know. Call it what you want.
Yeah, so Dark will be moving on to the winner's match. And Trust is not eliminated yet. He'll be in the loser's match, of course. GG.
Yeah. And I think Trust will have a better shot against our other 2 players here tonight. So don't think that'll be as one-sided. But
look, we expected Dark to win. We expect Dark to actually get out first in this group. So
oh, indeed.
I mean, it's a tough series there for Trust, but honestly, the results are not really shocking.
Yeah.
It does hurt to lose like that, though. I'll say that much.
He brought some interesting ideas to the table. You know, he was trying to get cheeky here with Dark, but Dark is definitely a pretty stable Zerg overall. Even if you do a lot of damage, he's one of the few Zergs that can come back from anything.
Yeah, he's really resilient. That's rough though for Trust. You know, you could see he was a little bit off throughout this series. Like he accidentally let that Ling in game 2 to scout, which is a big no-no. You're trying to be airtight and mask everything that's you're trying to do. And so little things like that can usually hint that our player Trust definitely not in the same level of comfort as Dark. We're going to go to a break, guys. We come back. Our second best of 3 in our first day back here at the GSL. Don't go away.